Alright, so here we are. Find an equation of the line with an x-intercept, with x-intercept 2 and y-intercept of 6. So right off the bat, we know that this line is going to go through the points of um, 2, 0, that's our x-intercept. That's our x-intercept there. And 0, 6, that's our y-intercept. And so if we're thinking through what type of equations, what form of the equation rather, of a line uses intercepts, both the standard form and slope, intercept, both use intercepts because standard form helps you get right to those intercepts, while standard form, slope intercept form uses your y-intercept. And so I'm going to go through looking at two different ways to answer this question. We'll go with changing it into slope-intercept form because that's the one that you're typically going to use in this case. So we've got 2 points that the line goes through, and just to draw a quick sketch, it means that it'd be going through 0, 6, that points up here somewhere, and 2, 0, that points right there somewhere, and we could reason through relatively quickly that it's going to have it's falling 6, so -6, and it's running 2, and it's going to end up with a slope of -6/2, which is -3. Okay, now we could reason that out fairly quickly, but let's actually find our slope using these points and what's called the slope formula. So slope is going to be equal to, well, we know it's equal to rise over run, and really maybe a bit more technically, it's the change in your y values divided by the change in your x values, because slope is rate of change. Um, and so rather than just keeping a formula in your head of y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, think of it as it's how far it's rising, the change in the rise, which is the change in the x's, over the change in the run. And how do you find the amount of change? Well, you subtract. You find the difference there. So your slope formula is, and I kind of hopefully didn't confuse you with all the rest of that information, but I do think it's really important. We've got to take our y values, so 0 minus 6, and that's y1 minus y2. And if you had gone with 6 first, that's okay. Just as you go into your x value, you would need to make sure you chose this 0 here as your next x value. But 0 minus 6 divided by our x's, so 2 minus 0. And maybe just to color code that, whatever point you use first, you've got to use first in both of them. So here we used 2 first, so 0 first, so 0 and 2. Those ones had to go together, and then 6 and 0. If we had gone and done 6 minus 0 and 0 minus 2, that would get us to the same answer. So let's see what our slope actually is. We're going to end up with -6 over 2, and hey, that's what our picture said, which is -3. We found the slope. All right, now with the slope, we already have the y-intercept, so y equals mx plus b. That's our slope-intercept form, and we know that the slope is y equals -3. There's our slope plus the y-intercept. And what is our y-intercept? Well, it's 6, so plus 6. And there's our equation in slope-intercept form. Remember, we also said that you could get into standard form because you already have both of these intercepts. And it's a little more complicated, but let me run you through it here, and maybe it'll be of use to you at some point. And so standard form, that's ax plus by equals c. And we know that we'll go with the x-intercept first. I'm just going to assume for a moment, what if a was 1? What if a was 1? Well, then I'd have my x value of 2, and my plus b, my y value would have to be 0. And what's this going to be equal to? Well, 2 plus 0 is equal to 2. All right, and now let's go ahead and find out what b is here. So we'll have 1 times, now for a y-intercept, we'll take a x value of 0 plus b times, this time our y-intercept is 6, and again keep it equal to 2. What would b have to be in this case? Well, it would have to be 1/3, because 1/3 times 6 gives you that 2. And we'd end up with something like 1x plus 1/3 y equals 2. But as you may remember, you can't have any fractions in standard form, so we would multiply everything by 3, and we would get 3x plus y equals 6. Now hopefully these look pretty similar to you if we were to take our standard form here. So here is your standard form, and subtract 3x from each side. Where would we be? Well, we'd be right over here in our slope-intercept form. We would have y equals negative 3x plus 6. All right, hope that helped.